Okay, welcome to part 5. Okay, we've been through all of this, and basically since last time, just a quick recap, we've got to this position here, level 1, random on the screen, press the space bar, gets to the other side, etc, etc, and etc. But the number of stars don't increase. That's the first problem we're going to deal with. Level number does. And the second problem, there's no collision detection and I can go off the edge of the screen. Okay, see, like that, I can go off the edge of the screen and I can bump into these stars and nothing happens. So, okay, so we're going to deal with these problems now. Okay, so for the first one, the number of stars does not increase. We simply put S equals, remember that's our number of stars, S equals S, say plus, so you can see it, plus 20. Okay, that's a bit harsh for every level since it started at just 10. Okay, but we'll do that anyway so that you can see that happening. So the number of stars, every single level should increase by 20. Okay, so I've now got 20 stars to dodge, or 30, 10 plus 20. Now I've got 50 stars, 10 plus 20 plus 20. Okay, oh, and of course I've got no collision detection yet. Okay, and it just keeps on going. Okay, and of course if I let go, it'll just keep on going down the screen. So I need to build these things into the game. Okay, so our number of stars, I'm going to actually say 5. So increase it by 5 stars per level so it doesn't go up too quickly. Okay, and I'm also going to reduce the delay to 100. Okay, so we're not too bad. Okay, so that's all of that. Okay, so the next thing I want to do, just to tidy it up a little bit, is you'll notice that some of the stars are right at the start of the screen. Okay, when I put the collision detection on, if it's right on the place that it starts at, or right in front of, then it's not going to even give the player the slightest chance. Okay, so if it was x equals 10 and y equals 250, then it would just see you would just see a small line and then boom. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to shift it by 20 in each direction. Okay, so it's between 20 and 480, and 20 between 20 and 640, and 20 and 480. In fact, we're going to have a border of 20 all the way around the screen. Okay, so it's going to print it from 20 to 620 and 20 to 460. So okay, there's going to be like a strip of 20 pixels where it's not going to print stars, and that's going to be kind of like a border of 20 around the screen. Okay, so that's that bit. Okay, so the next bit is we are going to add another delay between the levels, and it's a very minor delay, 0.1 seconds, which is 100 in computer talk. Okay, and now we have to add collision detection. Now I could use the command images collide, okay, but that's not going to serve our purpose for this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually test the color of the image, and when white collides with white, then I'm going to tell it to exit. Okay, so when white collides with white, I'm going to tell it to exit. So I'm first going to have a variable called the RGB value of white, which is actually 255, 255, 255. If you don't know where to get that, you can just get that in Paint. Okay, so when you put your when you click, I'll just get that up on there, it will give you the RGB value. If you so define custom colors, and you can see it in there, red, green, blue, 255, 255. Obviously if you move this around, the saturation and luminosity, you can get lots of colors and generate lots of colors. The RGB value means red, green and blue, and I just called it RGB, I could have called it monkey or anything, RGB value. So it's going to output the equivalent RGB value. Okay, so I want the RGB value when it reads. So what it's going to do is going to read the pixel. Okay, and that's going to read one tiny little pixel on the screen, and it's going to read it at the player's location. Now, the trouble with reading it at the player's location X and Y is that it will read it in the top left-hand corner. Okay, and we've got lots of overlapping rectangles, or squares rather. Okay, so as soon as it runs, if we test that pixel, then we're going to have problems. Okay, I will just demonstrate this. I would just explain this in Paint, probably be the best. Just typing anything. I'm just typing in an arbitrary number, 64480. Okay, so we've got our, what's happening is we've got our rectangle, and our rectangle is there. Okay, and it's a 2 by 2 rectangle. I'm not very good at drawing anyway. Not very steady with the mouse. But anyway, there's our 2 by 2 pixels for our rectangle, and I'll just. So anyway, you get the picture. That's our rectangle. Gosh, sorry about this. Okay, so there's our pixel. Sorry, that's meant to be joined there, but anyway, this is the pixel XY. This is the pixel X plus 1Y. This is the pixel Y plus 1. This is the is that Y plus 1? Yes, X Y plus 1, and this is the pixel X plus 1 Y plus 1. Remember, Y goes from top to bottom, X goes from left to right. Okay, so what we've got in this game is that we've got this is here, yeah, and so it starts in the middle of the screen. Okay, I'll just get rid of that for the moment. Right, okay, so what we've got happening here is that we have a rectangle, and it produces it at the middle of the screen, and then it produces Control C, Control V, produces another one, and it produces it here. Okay, if it's going down the screen, and etc., etc., and it overlaps and overlaps and overlaps. So if we directly test this pixel, then we've got problems. This pixel or this pixel. The same if it's going up the screen. Control V. If we test this pixel, we've got problems. Okay, so I press the space bar and it's going up the screen. Again, we've got problems, etc., etc., etc. Okay. So we don't want to test either of these two leading pixels. We don't want to test the back pixel. The only pixel it can't go and be on is this pixel here. Okay, so as I go down the screen, it will look something like that, and as you can see, it never actually, because it can't move backwards, you can't go backwards, it never actually hits this pixel here. So we will put this, what I've done is I've actually done the pixel just, what I did is I put the pixel just below it. Okay, so instead of putting that in, just put that away for the second, what I'm going to do is I'm going to test the pixel against white for X and Y plus 1. Okay, so that's where I got that from. Plus, and I'm going to test against white. Okay, so white on white, it gives me the white value. Okay, so the hexadecimal is FF, 255, 255, 255. You can look up hex values on the internet and it will give white as FF, 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 or 255, 255, 255. Okay, and I put a $ in front of it to signify that it's a hexadecimal value. So that will give me the equivalent RGB value. This is going to be a huge number, by the way, but you don't have to know what it is, because we can simply specify that if something is equal to that, so we can simply say if RGB underscore value is larger than 0, easy. So it's not 0, so it's going to give us a value that's not equal to 0 when it's tested against white. Okay, so when white collides with white, it's going to give us a value larger than 0. But if RGB is larger than 0, then exit. Okay, so it's going to exit the game. So even if it goes off the edge of the screen, it's still going to have the same effect. So we've got the effect that if it goes off the edge of the screen, then it will give us an exit command, which means the game will end, the program, which means the game will end and the program will end. Okay, so if it goes off the edge of the screen, or it goes off off the top of the screen, or if it hits a star, then it will end. Now there's a slight problem with that, in that when it goes off the edge of the screen, we want it to, if it goes off the edge of the right of the screen, we actually want it to end the level and go to the next level. Okay, so we can do this, we can be a little bit sneaky here and end it a couple of pixels beforehand. Player won't even notice, a couple of pixels, so 3/8. So actually when it hits just before the end of the screen, if it hits on the right hand side of the screen, then it will be fine. Okay, it will go to the next level as intended. So, oh, too fast. Okay, there we go, level 1. Okay, level 2. Pressing spacebar. Oh, this is fun. Level 3, and I'll just hit the bottom of the screen to, oh, no, it hasn't done it. Okay, okay, I'll just hit a star. So we've got a slight collision detection problem there, but it collides with the stars fine. Okay, so what I can do now is I can actually, I'm going to actually put this slightly below. Okay, and this is a little bit sneaky. So when y equals y minus 1, what that's going to do is, going back to this picture here, remember we had y plus 1, we had y minus 1 is slightly above it. Okay, so it's not actually where the square is, it's always slightly above where the square actually is. If I take this square here, just to demonstrate. So this is x plus y, this is going to be here, so it's actually looking at this pixel just above it. Okay, this pixel just here. Okay, so it's never actually directly looking at the pixel. So as it goes off the screen, then the value of that coordinate will change because it tests it against black. Have a little bit of a think about it. If you're not really too sure, it will make a bit of sense. As I say, just type it in and go for it. Okay, so there we go. Oh, and it's gone immediately. Okay, so we need to move it in a little bit, the starting position. So I'm going to go x equals 10. See, it works. Okay, oh, and it works too well. Okay, think. Okay, so if I move it by x plus 1, I need to move it off the edge of the screen when it starts out. Okay, got it. Okay, so, you know, have a little bit of a think about that. Obviously it goes off the edge of the screen. Now it's gone to level 2 and it's disappeared. Okay, so it's completely deleted it.